Hey, what is up, everybody? I am Jason, and you're watching my channel, Micro Investor. So in this video, we're going to be talking about two Chinese electric vehicle companies, and that is Li Auto, ticker symbol LI, and XPeng Motors, ticker symbol XPEV. So Li and XPeng stock is pretty new. It just recently came out this year and is doing pretty well, I have to say. Now they just released the revenues, so we'll talk about the revenues as well as their delivery numbers that they have. And we'll also talk about my price prediction on these two stocks because I think that there is a lot to come from these two companies. I expect a lot of growth from them. So we'll discuss all that in this video. So as we get into it, if you guys don't mind, please do me a huge favor and please smash, destroy, and annihilate that like button because it does help me out with the YouTube algorithm and it helps spread this video to more people that might find it interesting. And also, subscribe if you have not already. Alright guys, let's get to it. So we'll start first with Li stock. So this is Li from when it had its IPO. As you can see, the stock has just recently hit its high, and actually went higher than this on November 13th. It actually went as high as $40.81, but as you can see, it actually closed that day around $31. But the reason why it happened was because that Citron report came out about NIO, and Li stock did drop quite a bit, but you know, that was a Friday the 13th. Crazy things do happen on Friday the 13th. Now, Li has managed to double their stock price since they came out in the market in late July to now. And as you can see, they haven't really gone down too low in their stock. It has been pretty steady for a while, and then it started to break out in October. And then it really started to break out in mid-October to where we're at now here in November. This stock is just going up and up and up. So now let's look at XPeng stock. So very similar situation with XPeng as Li Auto, and the market caps of these two companies are very close in range. Li Auto's market cap is $26.1 billion, and XPeng's market cap is $30.2 billion. So these companies are only $4 billion apart in size, and they both went public very close together. XPeng went public in the middle of August, and the stock didn't really have that much change in the prices. As you can see, it did go down quite after it came out publicly, but as you can see here at towards the end of October, XPeng stock did have a big rally, and it did hit its 52-week high on the same day as Li Auto. XPeng's 52-week high was on November 13th when the stock hit $51.27, but the same situation happened when the Citron report came out about NIO, and XPeng stock then did drop down, and it closed at around $42. So, but the same performance, man. This is the same rally that all these EV stocks are having. You know, there's just so much FOMO, fear of missing out, in the EV space right now that it's helping drive a lot of these stock prices up as a lot of people are jumping in on these EV stocks. Now, not that I don't like all the attention that these EV stocks are getting and seeing the stock prices go up, because you guys know I am one of the biggest bulls on all these EV stocks, but you have to expect that there is going to be some pullback here and there. You can't just expect that there's going to be a rally every single day nonstop. It does kind of pull back a little bit, and that's just to be expected. Now let's take a quick look at the financials that both these companies released. We'll start first with Li Auto. So Li Auto's third quarter 2020 financials. Quarterly total revenues reached US $369.8 million. The quarterly deliveries were 8,660 vehicles, and the quarterly gross margins reached 19.8%. Now remember, Li is just doing this with just one vehicle, their Li 1. And so if we look at their previous quarters here in 2020, the first quarter 2020, they delivered 2,896 vehicles. In quarter two, 6,604 vehicles. And then, like we said here in quarter three, 8,660 vehicles. Now, if you've never seen the Li 1 before, it looks like pretty much any ordinary SUV on the outside, but then on the inside of the vehicle, it is a lot more high tech. Just like a lot of these electric vehicles, most of the functions are all done through, you know, digital display, and the Li 1's digital display goes across the entire dashboard all the way to the passenger side as well. So now let's look at XPeng's third quarter 2020 financial results. So they had deliveries of 8,578 vehicles in Q3, an increase of 265.8% from 2,345 vehicles in the third quarter of 2019, an increase of 165.7% from 3,228 vehicles in the second quarter of 2020. The deliveries of their new vehicle, their P7, which this was their first full quarter of deliveries of that vehicle, reached 6,210 vehicles delivered compared to 325 of them that were delivered in the second quarter of 2020. Now, they didn't put how many deliveries of their G3 SUV that they delivered. They just assumed that we could do the math here, so I just did it for you. 2,368 of the G3s were delivered in the third quarter. And their total revenue was US $293.1 million for the third quarter of 2020, representing an increase of 342.5% from the same period of 2019, and an increase of 236.9% from the second quarter of 2020. Now, their vehicle margin, which is the gross profit or gross loss of the vehicle sales as a percentage of revenue for vehicle sales, was 3.2% for the third quarter of 2020 compared to negative 10.8% for the same period of 2019 and negative 5.6% for the second quarter of 2020. Now, that's a good thing because you do want to see those vehicle margins be much better. You don't want to see those in the negative. You do want to see them making money on those vehicles. Now, if you've never seen XPeng's vehicles, they have their G3, which is like a sporty SUV, and then they have their new P7, their sedan, which is what they wanted to be sure that they got out on the market to compete with Tesla's Model 3, and this is looking like this is their best seller. Now, a little bit of information about XPeng that is worth looking up. Now, XPeng does have an advanced driving system called XPilot, which they recently updated to 3.0. Now, XPilot is very similar to Tesla's Autopilot, and that is because it could quite possibly be using Tesla's technology. If you haven't heard about this, this is worth Googling, that an ex-employee of Tesla could have sold that information to XPeng. So that's something to look up and worth looking into. Now, as far as Q4 deliveries for Li Auto and XPeng, Li Auto is forecasting deliveries for Q4 to be between 11,000 and 12,000 deliveries for that quarter, and XPeng is forecasting deliveries to be approximately 10,000 vehicles. Now, they're both still quite a ways away from Tesla, who is delivering around 11,000 vehicles per month. So Tesla's doing many more vehicles per month than both these companies, but these two are gaining some traction here. Now, as far as where do I see Li Auto and XPeng stock going? Now, I expect both these stocks to do very well over the next 5 years, just because of everything that's going on in China with the whole push into EV and how so many people are going to be buying EV vehicles between now and 2025. But do I expect that these two companies are going to have the same performance that we saw with NIO over this last year? Absolutely not. You gotta remember that NIO was a stock that was below $2 a share just last year, and that is because that no one really had any faith in NIO. Everybody thought that NIO was a company that was going to go bankrupt, and then NIO kind of proved everybody wrong and became the little stock that could. So that's why we saw that huge growth with NIO, where NIO went up over 2,000 plus percent over this last year. Now, both these stocks, I think that there is good potential for both of them to be able to 5x over the next 5 years. Now, that is just my opinion. That's not financial advice, so don't take it that way, but I think it's very possible. I'm very bullish on both these companies. I'm more bullish on NIO, and I'm still more bullish on Tesla, but I think there's a lot of great things coming to both these. I think that the EV space in China is just going to continue to grow, and it's going to continue to grow all over the world. And if these companies can get their cars in Europe, then they're going to do even better. So anyways, I'd like to hear your guys' opinions about Li Auto and XPeng. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I have new videos coming out on my channel all the time. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you all in the next video coming very soon.